Last year, a Greek taxi driver donated his Mercedes to the company museum. The odometer read 2.9 million miles on the original diesel engine. No rebuilds. That's not a typo. While manufacturers today engineer planned obsolescence into their vehicles, designing them to last just long enough to avoid lawsuits, there was an era when engineers ran the show instead of accountants. Roughly 1985 to 2005, before spreadsheets conquered the automotive world, these engineers built cars so durable they accidentally created a problem. People stopped buying new ones. We're not talking about Corollas limping to 200,000 miles here. These are vehicles hitting 300,000, 500,000, and in some cases over 1 million miles because someone in an engineering department asked, "What if we just made this part way better than it needs to be?" And nobody stopped them. The result? Cars that refuse to die. Some cost billions to develop. Others got their lead engineers fired. A few bankrupted entire divisions. But they're still on the road today, long after the accountants who replaced those engineers have retired to their lake houses. Here are 23 cars that prove over-engineering wasn't always a bad idea. Number 23. Honda Pilot 2003 to 2008, first generation. Honda's first mid-size SUV shared its unibody platform with the decidedly unsexy Odyssey minivan. But instead of minivan spec components, Honda threw in truck-grade suspension pieces and the J35 V6, an engine massively overbuilt for the vehicle's weight. The transmission? Same 5-speed used in the Ridgeline pickup, rated for towing loads the Pilot would rarely see. Here's the detail Honda won't advertise. They use the same foam density in the seats as luxury brands charging $15,000 more. That's partly why these hold their value better than the competition, though whether your back agrees with that investment depends on how long your commute is. Number 22. Mazda MX-5, Miata, 1990 to 2005, NA and NB generations. The Miata was modeled after British roadsters but engineered like a Japanese appliance. The B-Series engine featured a forged crankshaft, unusual for a 116 horsepower engine, and was tested to 300,000 redline hits before approval. That's far more abuse than even the most enthusiastic autocrosser would inflict. The world's best-selling sports car achieved that title partly because it refuses to die. Scroll through Miata forums and you'll find owners casually mentioning 250,000-mile odometers like it's nothing remarkable. Meanwhile, comparable British roadsters from the same era are mostly lawn ornaments now, leaking oil into their third owner's driveways. Number 21. Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra, 1999 to 2006. When GM's truck division was designing these, engineers insisted on cast iron engine blocks while competitors went aluminum to save weight. The decision added 150 pounds and hurt fuel economy by half a mile per gallon, but it created near bulletproof durability. Here's what's interesting. Dealerships loved these trucks initially because the profit margins were solid. Then they realized owners would drive them for 15+ years, destroying repeat business. Some rural buyers are still daily driving 1999 models with original engines, which probably keeps a few GM executives awake at night. Number 20. Lexus IS and GS, 1998 to 2005. Toyota built these luxury sedans with the same durability philosophy as their pickups. Bearings were over-spec'd, gaskets were redundant, electrical systems were designed assuming worst-case scenarios. The 2JZ and later engines featured reinforced blocks designed for forced induction, even in naturally aspirated applications. Because why not? The first gen S300 used the same 2JZ GE engine as the Supra, just detuned. Tuners quickly realized they could bolt on turbo kits designed for Supras, creating $8,000 sleepers that ran 12-second quarter miles. And here's the kicker. They still started every morning and got 25 miles per gallon on the highway. Number 19. Toyota Avalon, 1995 to 2004, first 2 generations. Toyota's flagship sedan was engineered to compete with the Lexus ES, but sold for $10,000 less. How'd they manage that? By skipping the luxury badge while keeping the over-engineering. The 1MZF EV6 featured forged internals and a transmission cooler as standard equipment, unusual for a vehicle that would never tow anything. Retired middle managers and insurance adjusters loved Avalons, which meant these cars received religious maintenance. When Toyota discontinued the nameplate in 2022, used examples with 200,000 plus miles were selling for more than newer sedans with 50,000 miles. That's not nostalgia. That's informed buyers recognizing actual value. Number 18, Honda CR-V, 1997 to 2006, first two generations. Honda's first compact SUV used a modified Civic platform, but with significantly reinforced subframes and upgraded suspension components. The B-Series and K-Series engines that powered various trims were already known for 300,000-mile lifespans in Civics. Giving them even easier duty in the slightly heavier CR-V was just mean. The first-gen CR-V featured a fold-out picnic table in the cargo area. Honda quietly removed it in later generations after realizing owners were keeping these vehicles so long that the tables were outlasting the original buyers. Hard to justify replacing a functional vehicle just because you want a newer picnic table. Number 17, BMW E39 M5, 1999 to 2003. The hand-built S62 V8 featured individual throttle bodies for each cylinder and a red line tested to exceed 100,000 cycles. Unlike cost-cutting modern BMWs, everything was overspecified. Bearings, cooling systems, even the Getrag 6-speed manual was rated for 150% of the engine's torque output. Here's the catch. The S62 can last 300,000 miles on original components, but it can also fail at 40,000 miles. What's the difference? Rod-bearing maintenance that wasn't in the owner's manual, but became common knowledge on enthusiast forums. Early adopters learned the hard way, spending thousands on rebuilds. Late owners benefit from 20-plus years of collective wisdom posted online by people who've already made every possible mistake. Number 16, Subaru Outback, 1996 to 2004, first two generations. Subaru's boxer engine layout was inherently more expensive to build than inline configurations. Horizontally opposed cylinders require more complex manufacturing, but the design provided perfect balance and a lower center of gravity, plus durability that exceeded what most buyers needed for grocery runs and ski trips. A Colorado mechanic once claimed he saw a Subaru engine driven without oil and caused no issues with the engine. I cannot say that about any other car. Whether that's engineering excellence or an engine oil company's worst nightmare is up for debate. Either way, it's the kind of over-engineering that makes accountants weep. Number 15, Toyota Camry, 1992 to 2001, XV10 and XV20 generations. The 90s Camry featured engine blocks and transmissions designed for vehicles 1,000 pounds heavier. The 5SFE and 1MZFE engines had forged internals as standard, components usually reserved for performance applications, not family sedans. Insurance companies loved these so much they'd give discounts just for owning one. The actuary math was brutally simple. Camrys didn't break down, didn't get stolen because they were boring, and their owners drove responsibly because they were also boring. Being boring became a competitive advantage. Toyota accidentally discovered that the sweet spot between reliability and profitability was so unremarkable that nobody notices you. Number 14, Chevrolet Suburban, 1992 to 1999, GMT 400 platform. Body-on-frame construction with a full ladder chassis designed for commercial use, even in civilian trim. The small block Chevy V8s powering these were agricultural in their simplicity, more tractor than sports car, and equally unkillable. The Suburban is the oldest continuously produced nameplate in automotive history, debuting in 1935. That 80-plus year run wasn't because GM kept redesigning it. It's because families would drive one for 15 years, then buy another one specifically because the first one wouldn't die. When your product's biggest competition is the used version of itself, you've either succeeded spectacularly or failed to innovate. With the Suburban, it was both. Number 13, Buick LeSabre and Park Avenue, 1992 to 2005, GM 3800 V6. GM's 3800 V6 won Ward's 10 Best Engines 3 years straight, 1995 through 1997. Despite being a pushrod design in an era when overhead cams were the hot new thing, it featured a bulletproof bottom end with forged components and a cast iron block when competitors went aluminum to chase fuel economy gains. Here's how tough these are. Mechanics report seeing a 3800 supercharge that drove in under its own power with 5-fingered pistons, meaning the pistons had cracked into pieces, but the engine still ran. Another bent 4 connecting rods from Hydrolock and kept running anyway. The only real weakness, plastic intake manifold gaskets that leak coolant, a $600 fix. Once addressed, you've got an engine that refuses to die no matter how much you neglect it. Number 12, Ford Crown Victoria, 1998 to 2011, Panther platform. The P71 Police Interceptor package included heavy-duty everything: upgraded alternator, external oil coolers for engine and transmission, stainless steel exhaust, reinforced frame rails, upgraded cooling systems. Many of these components made it into civilian models because Ford's parts bin management was lazy in the best possible way. When Ford announced discontinuation in 2011, police departments panicked and stockpiled them. LAPD bought 600 units in the final production run and still had 400 plus in service as of 2023. Why? Officers trusted the Crown Vic more than modern replacements because they knew exactly how much abuse these body-on-frame tanks could absorb. Departments learned this the expensive way. Newer vehicles are faster and more fuel efficient, but they don't survive Piat maneuvers the same way. Turns out that when you're deliberately crashing into fleeing vehicles, over-engineering matters. Number 11, Honda Civic, 1996 to 2000, EK and EM1 chassis codes. Honda's B-Series and D-Series engines featured timing chains instead of belts, individual port fuel injection, and VTEC systems tested to exceed 300,000 RPM transitions. The chassis was galvanized, unusual for economy cars, to prevent rust, which is why you still see these in the Rust Belt while competitors rotted away. The side trim used the same B16 engine as the Acura Integra Type R, just detuned. Performance shops discovered they could extract 200 plus horsepower naturally aspirated from these $15,000 economy cars, creating a tuner culture that persists today. The aftermarket for these is so robust that you can still buy every single part needed to build one from scratch, which is remarkable for a car designed in the mid-90s. Number 10, Toyota Sequoia, 2001 to 2007 first generation. Built on a reinforced Tundra platform with a 4.7-liter V8 that was massively overspec'd for soccer practice and grocery runs. Toyota used truck-grade components throughout because their engineers apparently didn't understand the concept of good enough. Reddit reviews suggest it's one of the best high-mileage SUVs you can buy, with the only common issue being that owners get bored before the truck gets tired. That 4.7-liter V8 offers decades of carefree ownership, which creates a weird problem. There's no justification for replacing something that won't break. Some owners report feeling guilty about wanting a newer vehicle when their Sequoia still runs perfectly at 200,000 miles. Number 9, Lexus GX 470, 2003 to 2009. Based on the Land Cruiser Prado, the GX 470 featured body-on-frame construction, a 4.7-liter V8, and full-time four-wheel drive. These were components designed for extreme off-road use, deployed in a luxury SUV that would mostly see mall parking lots and private school pickup lines. Old GX with 200,000 plus miles were the best-kept secret of overlanders and off-road enthusiasts for years. They'd buy them cheap, throw some bigger tires on, and drive to Patagonia. Then everyone else found out about it, and prices for high-mileage used GXs went up, up, up. Finding one under $15,000 now requires luck, patience, and probably a willingness to drive to Montana to pick it up. Number 8. Honda Accord, 1998 to 2002, 6th generation. The late 90s Accord featured Honda's F-Series and J-Series engines with forged crankshafts, reinforced blocks, and transmissions rated for significantly higher torque than the engines produced. Build quality rivaled luxury brands costing twice as much, which is why these still command decent resale prices 2 decades later. Master mechanic Joe LoCicero's Accord exceeded 1 million miles, and Honda threw him a parade in Saco, Maine to celebrate. The car's longevity resulted from obsessive maintenance and one engine rebuild carried out by LoCicero himself. But the fact that it was rebuildable at all, and worth rebuilding, says something about the engineering. Modern Accords are faster and more efficient, but good luck finding a shop willing to rebuild one at 500,000 miles. Number 7. Mercedes-Benz W140 S-Class, 1991 to 1998. This car was so over-engineered that its development was delayed by years, went massively over budget, and got Mercedes' lead engineer fired. It featured double-pane windows, hydraulically closing doors, and build quality that exceeded even Mercedes' already excessive standards. The W140 was the last Mercedes built in the era where engineers rather than accountants decided where the money went. Enthusiasts view it as the last real S-Class. When bean counters took over with the W220 replacement, reliability plummeted, proving the accountants were right about the budget but catastrophically wrong about the philosophy. Turns out customers noticed when their $80,000 Mercedes needed expensive repairs at 60,000 miles. Number 6. Toyota 4Runner, 1996 to 2002, 3rd generation. Built on a reinforced truck frame with a legendary 3.4-liter 5VZFE V6, the 3rd-gen 4Runner was designed for conditions that 90% of owners would never see. The engine featured forged internals and a timing belt designed to survive 200,000 miles in desert heat, which is serious over-engineering for a vehicle whose hardest duty would be hauling kayaks to the lake. These hold value so well that 20-year-old examples with 200,000 miles sell for $10,000 to $15,000. That's not nostalgia or collector value. That's informed buyers knowing these trucks will outlast modern equivalents. Some younger buyers are purchasing high-mileage 3rd-gen 4Runners specifically because they're more reliable than newer vehicles, which would horrify modern auto executives if they thought about it too hard. Number 5. GM 3800 Series 2 and 3 V6, 1995 to 2008. Ward's 10 Best Engine winner 3 straight years, the 3800 featured a cast-iron block, pushrod simplicity, and components rated far beyond the engine's 200 to 240 horsepower output. Series 3 versions added electronic throttle control and variable valve timing, but maintained the bulletproof bottom end. You cannot kill a 3800 with anything short of gross negligence. One mechanic documented a 3800 supercharged with catastrophically damaged pistons that still ran well enough to drive into the shop. Another had 4 bent connecting rods from hydrolock and kept running anyway. The only weakness? Plastic intake manifold gaskets that fail around 60,000 miles and leak coolant. It's a $600 fix. Once addressed, you're left with an engine that will outlive your will to keep driving the car it's in. Number 4. Mercedes-Benz 123, 1976 to 1985. Built when Mercedes' philosophy was, we'll build it to specification, not to price. The W123 featured massively over-engineered everything. Panel gaps you could measure with a micrometer. Wiring harnesses designed to last 40 years. Diesel engines that were agricultural in their simplicity and commercial equipment levels of durability. These are built so well that the successor, the W124, has a documented example that was able to drive off after being run over by a tank. That's not hyperbole or marketing speak. A W124 was literally run over by a military tank during testing, and it started up and drove away. Try that with a modern Mercedes, and you'll be shopping for a new car. Number 3. Toyota Land Cruiser 1998 to 2007 J100 series. Designed for United Nations peacekeepers, militaries, and aid organizations operating in the world's harshest environments, the J100 Land Cruiser was absurdly overspec'd for suburban school runs. The 4.7-liter V8 featured titanium valves, an expensive choice reserved for race engines, and the chassis was reinforced to survive conditions that would destroy anything else. In conflict zones and developing nations, the Land Cruiser is worth more than gold, and we mean that literally. Aid organizations prefer them because they start every single time, survive roads that aren't really roads, and parts are available globally. Some Land Cruisers in Africa have been rebuilt so many times that the only original component is the frame, but they're still running. That's the kind of over-engineering where the design philosophy outlives the actual parts. Number 2. Lexus LS400, 1990 to 2000, first and second generations. Toyota spent over $1 billion developing the original LS400, 60 designers, 1,400 engineers in 24 teams, 2,300 technicians logging 1.6 million test miles. They engineered fluid-damped interior fixtures and sandwich steel body panels just to eliminate noise and vibration. BMW accused Lexus of selling it below cost, and they were probably right. The LS400 likely never made money for Lexus on its own, but it cemented the brand as a luxury contender, despite having zero name recognition. The 1U ZF-EV8 was so overbuilt that tuners discovered they could extract 500-plus horsepower with forced induction from an engine designed for library-quiet luxury cruising. One owner said, "I thought about getting rid of it, but I couldn't find anything that would be better for as cheap as the recent repairs it needed." When a $2,000 repair on a high-mileage luxury car still makes more sense than buying something newer, the engineers did their job too well. Number 1. Toyota Supra, Mark IV and II, J's engine, 1993 to 2002. The 2JZG-TE engine is the ultimate expression of Japanese over-engineering. Cast iron block when competitors went aluminum. Forged internals as standard when most manufacturers use cast pistons. Sequential twin turbos that were unnecessarily complex for the factory power output. The engineers didn't just meet the requirements, they obliterated them. One 1998 Supra is documented with 520,000 miles on its original engine and transmission. Teardowns of 400,000-mile-plus engines show cylinder walls still displaying the factory cross-hatching, which is basically unheard of. The stock bottom end can handle 600 to 700 horsepower with proper tuning. Built versions regularly exceed 1,000 horsepower. Modern engines can't match this because accountants won't approve the budget for cast iron blocks and forged internals in street cars. Here's why it's number 1. The 2JZ exists because Toyota engineers were told to build an engine that could handle racing abuse straight from the factory. They didn't just meet that requirement. They built an engine so over-engineered that it handles double its factory power without internal modifications. When Formula Drift teams need reliable 1,000-plus horsepower, they still choose the 2JZ, an engine designed in 1991. Now, if you want to see the exact opposite of these over-engineered legends, cars that are practically designed to fall apart, check out our video on 10 cars everyone will regret buying in 2026. Same lack of mercy, different end of the reliability spectrum.